Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news, where I break down everything that's going on in the VR industry, prepare you for this week's new releases, and then focus in on one major story. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. Today, we have two exciting and rather unique new game releases. Exciting new VR hardware is already here, with even more on the way as HTC teases a new headset, and the Quest 3 might be delivering twice the computing power of the Quest 2. So it's definitely an exciting time, and I do have timestamps and links to all of these stories down in the description. But before we jump in, this video is brought to you by my sponsor, Kiwi Design. Kiwi delivers some of the best overall VR accessories out there, and they're routinely cheaper and better quality than what you get from the official Meta store. They just released a new Elite strap with battery pack that I've been using for months, and I absolutely love it. They also have additional accessories like index-style controller straps, enhanced headphones, link cables, pulley systems, you name it, they have it. There's a link down in the description, and don't forget to use discount code Mateo311 for 5% off and to help support this channel. Okay, so let's start this video off with new releases, and the list is short but rather sweet. First up is the RPG title Arcaxer that previously released on PCVR and has now made it to the official Quest store. It takes place in both first and third person modes, features procedurally generated dungeons, a full story campaign, and some extremely unique turn-based combat that has you dodging enemy projectiles, firing back some gesture-based spells, or getting up close and personal with your melee weapon. I just recently started this game and I'm not very far into it, but I will say there's a lot to offer, and there's nothing else quite like it. Now, another game finally making its way onto the official Quest store is Gym Class. This is a 8-person basketball simulator with some true-to-life physics and a regulation-sized basketball court. It's currently an extremely beloved App Lab title, and the developers recently raised $8 million in additional external funding, so we should expect to see some huge updates in the near future. What exactly that entails, I'm not sure, but the developers have stated that they want this game to be a digital sport. While I'm not much of a basketball player, I can definitely see the appeal. And speaking of appeal, No Man's Sky is giving us the new Waypoint update. This is a more relaxed, less challenging gameplay mode that lets you see most of the game without the grind. No Man's Sky has come an extremely long way from launch disaster to this extremely beloved title that has so many new features in it. The only issue is that amount of vastness can be intimidating to new players, and they might not be ready for such a commitment. Well, here the Waypoint update comes to the rescue. Finally, you'll get to see most of what this game has to offer without spending a lifetime in it. I'm curious to hear what you guys think in the comments though. Would this make you more or less likely to jump back into No Man's Sky? And finally, we have early access for the Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast native Quest mod. This is a beloved classic Star Wars title, and it's being brought to the Quest by the master modding team of Dr. Beef. You'll get to swing your lightsaber around in 6 degrees of freedom, redeflect blaster fire against your enemies, and then even decapitate them when you get up close and personal. I absolutely can't wait to jump into this. However, the early access for the mod is only currently available to Patreons. Don't worry, this paywall is not permanent. It's just a way the team is saying thank you to contributors, but when the mod is fully complete, it will be available to everyone free of cost. Okay, so that was our short but sweet list of game updates, but that's not the only thing going on this week. October 11th is Meta Connect, and while I haven't 100% decided if I'm going to stream it yet, I'm most likely joining Sadly It's Bradley for a post-Meta Connect discussion. Unless Meta surprises us with some amazing new announcements, you can most likely expect a combination of two cynical bastards ripping on the event. A lot of what I'm hearing internally about the Quest Pro is not making me feel confident. All of the leaks and rumors that have been previously stated, like the $1,500 price tag, still seem to be dead on, but now I'm hearing plenty of other not so great news. But rather than fanning some rumor flames, let's just wait a day and see what we learn from Meta Connect. But while we're on the topic of the Pro, it looks like they had another minor leak. Immerse, the company that develops AR productivity apps, appeared to showcase the Meta Pro in some recent footage. Not a major reveal here, but it looks like they just jumped the gun. Now, an unexpected announcement came from HTC. It's just a little tease, but they have confirmed that a new VR headset is on the way. All they stated was go small or go home. So obviously this is going to be a slimmed down headset, but they did actually reveal a bit more information as they responded to a few of the hundreds of tweets that came in. Obviously the VR community is very skeptical, and they've abandoned us for enterprise for years now. But they are alluding to the fact that this will be a cheaper headset and small, and that's about it. I don't know how to feel about this. My hopes have been squashed so many times before. The original Cosmos was a pretty horrendous headset, but I didn't learn my lesson and actually bought a Vive Pro 2, which they billed me for and never shipped out. So I got that refunded and gave up all hope in this company, but there's some small part of me, after loving the original HTC Vive, that's ready to be tricked all over again. So HTC, please don't let us down again. Don't do the whole hype train and then reveal something like a face tracker. give the people what they want. We still need more competition because right now we either have a choice of giving our data to Meta or the Chinese government. But on that note, I actually have a Pico 4 on hand now. I've spent about 6 hours testing it, and I will have a review up soon. Now, my first impressions, I really enjoy this headset. There's lots of pros and only a few cons that I've noticed so far. Personally, I think it is better than the Quest 2, but if anyone's telling you you should give up your Quest 2 for a Pico 4, they're wrong. And if you want to find out why, you'll have to come back for my review. So don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn notifications on. Now, besides new competition, another issue that Meta has is Horizon Worlds just stinks. Now, this is not my opinion. This is what Meta's own team is stating internally. While Horizon Worlds should allow you to create these amazing spaces, its own staff members are saying it's too unpolished and buggy for practical use. So while Zuckerberg may be out there stating that Horizon Worlds is getting a huge graphical makeover, a web and mobile version is coming to those who want to create some content. In truth, the staff is currently focused entirely on solving bugs and fixing performance issues. We've seen a lot of promotion from Meta for Horizon Worlds, but unfortunately it's yet to deliver anything close to the other social apps currently out there. But it's not all bad news because they may have made one major leap towards expanding the actual metaverse. Last year, Meta acquired the studio behind Crayta, another creation style application. Their recent work with the studio reveals that they will be linking both Horizon Worlds and Crayta together. Now, what exactly this entails, we can't say for sure, but it looks like Meta avatars will be able to jump into that world. This kind of feels like Meta once again buying out competition rather than creating things in-house, but I'm not looking to get into that conversation right now. Instead, let's talk about the Quest version 46 update. One of the coolest new features will be a Lord of the Rings homeworld. So now for about 30 seconds before you launch a game, you could admire a new Lord of the Rings landscape, and that's about it. Okay, I'm obviously joking here. It's cool that Meta lets you change your home environment, stylize it to your choosing, but this is a minor novelty and just more promotion for the Rings of Power. When it comes to actual new features, Meta has added a recent app tab, so if you frequently play the same games, they'll be right there on the main screen, saving you a few precious seconds. Additionally, there's some new updates to privacy settings and the overall search tool. So overall, nothing special, but definitely better than nothing. But you want to know what might be a massive update? The power of the Quest 3 compared to the Quest 2. Recently, both the specs and CAD file to the Quest 3 were leaked, and we now know what to expect. The only remaining wildcard was how much better would the XR2 Gen 2 chip actually be. The naming convention left much to be desired, as something like XR3 would seem like the title of a true generational successor. Instead, we just have XR2 Gen 2. Now, if all the leaked information is actually correct, which I believe it is, there'll actually be 3 separate chips out in the wild. The original XR2 that we find in the Quest 2, an XR2 Gen 1, which will be in the Quest Pro, which only has minor modifications, like how they've relocated the RAM and increased thermal efficiency. This would lead to a roughly 30% performance increase over the Quest 2's XR2, but the XR2 Gen 2 would be including a new GPU, and this can result in a 100% performance increase. So what does that mean for us? Well, it's quite possible some of those big-name PCVR games that never made it onto the Quest 2 finally will. I'm looking at Asgard's Wrath and Lone Echo 1 and 2. You guys have to remember that Meta owns both Ready at Dawn and Sanzaru, so I'm sure those studios are currently working on something. Now, it also looks like spec-wise, that new chipset is capable of dual 4K displays and 10 separate cameras. So just how all our existing games got better looking going from Quest 1 to Quest 2, we'll probably see the same happen with the Quest 3. Amazingly, the performance on this mobile chip would actually be better than an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. That's pretty incredible for a tiny device that you're going to strap to your face. So developers should finally have more than enough power to start pumping out some much bigger games. The only concern here, which we knew was going to happen anyway, is it puts a countdown clock on the Quest 2. By the time we get to 2024, most new games are going to be targeting the Quest 3, and the Quest 2 will go the way of the original Quest. But this is just how mobile tech works. And again, that's just focusing on the negative, and we should stay positive because amazing things are going on in VR right now, and I am absolutely pumped. Let's hope Meta gives us some surprises tomorrow at Meta Connect, and I'm just curious if you guys are finally pumped for VR again. Let me know down in the comments, but for now, that was today's new VR news. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, consider subscribing, and as always, I will see you guys on next time.